Good morning, everyone. I was just in Vegas, so I don't even know what day it is. It is August 11th. This is the 9th rendition of ZecDaily, and it's been 6 days since our last one. A lot's happened in 6 days. So for this episode, I was in Vegas, wasn't really on my computer, wasn't really on Twitter all day, so didn't curate all of the links possible. So for this episode, we're just going to kind of go over a high-level overview of how I felt about ZCon 3, my experience there, the people that I got to meet, and just all of those different conversations that happened. Go over a couple other things that have happened in the space, some updates around ZecHub, and that's really it. And I say it's going to be a shorter episode, but I'm sure in some way I'm going to blab on for 35 minutes or something. No, not that long, maybe 15. But yeah, so we just got the first one on the screen here. The Zcash Community's annual conference is underway in Vegas, and this was on August 7th. So I thought, all in all, the conference was brilliant. I thought the foundation did a great job of organizing it. I thought, everything ran really smoothly from a timing perspective. I thought Zcash Media did a great job of recording all of the talks and having those talks go on YouTube. So for people who weren't there in person, they could watch it online. If you missed a talk, you can now go back and watch it on YouTube. I watched Zuko's Proof of Stake talk again yesterday just to kind of listen into it again. And again, thought it was brilliant. I thought the foundation did a fantastic job of running it, and I think everyone there really enjoyed it. So to follow up with that, Thor Thorns posted here, just got back to New York, and he was super grateful to be a part of, part of the ZCon 3. And there's a ton of brilliant minds working on it. And I can echo his sentiment that I felt that I am very lucky to be a part of that as well. I feel very lucky after coming back from ZCon 3, feel very lucky to just be a part of the ecosystem. So we'll just hop over now to their YouTube page. And like I mentioned, all of the talks are here on the YouTube page. And if you missed any of them, you can just come into this page and listen to the talks. If you want to binge them and just listen to them all at once, feel free to do that as well. I think that actually might be a good exercise to binge all of them and post a thread about the thoughts on the talk. So yeah, I think that might be a good exercise. It's a lot of time, but it might be a good exercise. I know that there are people, Deirdre from the foundation was posting live updates, and that's super dope as well, because getting that commentary from the talks is really important for people that didn't want to be there. And I saw that the Zcash community account was retweeting a lot of those. So that was super dope as well from a comms perspective, just to get all of that information out there. But again, just feel super grateful to be a part of the ecosystem and a part of the community, especially during this week, with everything that's come out and all the news around privacy. It was really cool to just be in that ecosystem and be around people that really care about this, and just kind of be with everyone who's kind of fighting the fight for privacy. So again, I thought it was a brilliant event, and thought everyone there was super nice. The best thing I like about these conferences is not maybe the talks are great, and don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed that and made a note of it to be at as many of them as I could. But I also enjoyed just the general camaraderie of just meeting people and getting to put faces to anon or pseudonymous accounts and faces to NFT profile pictures, and really just talk to people and kind of understand what they're thinking. I got to meet a lot of people from ECC in person for the first time. So I thoroughly enjoyed it and thoroughly thought it was brilliant. And again, it was all available digitally. So if you weren't able to attend in person, or you didn't want to be in Vegas during this time, just because of a lot of different situations going on, people were afforded that opportunity to go out there and I mean to go online and watch all of this online. So again, just thought it was really good. And then there were talks from various people, not just within the Zcash community, but people associated with Zcash who have big standings in broader crypto communities, and being a part of those types of conversations, and not individually being a part of it, but being there to kind of witness these people and meet them and listen to them speak, I thought was another really cool thing as well. So my favorite talk from the conference, I would have to say, was this one right here. Let's click into it and mute it quickly so this isn't playing in the background. I thought this was a brilliant talk from Chris Tomio, who is the head of growth marketing at ECC, just talking about marketing Zec and marketing Zcash. I thought this entire talk, just kind of breaking it down, was absolutely fantastic. And I thought he did a really great job of kind of explaining all of this at the end. And I want to see if I can get to that slide. Oh no, where are the slides? I want to find the slides. Okay, here it is. I thought this slide was fantastic. Just going over this, just going to read this really quickly for anyone who's not been able to see it. Freedom from ads, freedom from borders, freedom from the past, freedom from constraints, freedom from security, freedom from expectations, freedom to express yourself, freedom to choose, freedom to share, freedom to create, freedom to connect, to flourish, be free, Z to Z. And I think that's a big thing and a big misconception. Like when we go into these things and we get into a lot of the technical discussions and technical implementations, I'm glad that we have people like Chris in the community who can kind of peel it a layer back and kind of say like, okay, what does this mean for people from a day-to-day perspective? How can they benefit from Zcash? And it's about all of these things. I think a great example for me personally, and I'm wondering if anyone can relate, is like I used to, like on some old Ethereum addresses where I had ENS names and everything associated with my identity, like bought shit coins and made bad investments and had to do things maybe I don't want the broader world seeing, and with personal finances having that layer of privacy at the individual user level, I think is really important. And it gives you all these abilities to do things like buying an NFT that you might not want everyone to see. Like let's say you want to support an LGBTQ artist and you live in Iran and you don't want people, to see that information. Like buying an NFT on a public ledger with a doxed address could be potentially dangerous in that sense, right? And just the freedom to share and the freedom to do whatever you want with your money and what you want with your identity, I think is a really, really interesting concept. And a really important one. And I was really glad that this slide, I think for me, kind of cemented my entire feeling around that, like why I would want to work on Zcash and why I would want to be a part of this community. So again, I'd highly recommend, this is my favorite talk. So if you're maybe a non-technical person and perhaps have some trouble following a lot of the technical discussions, I think this was a great conversation to just peel it back a layer and say, what are we doing here? Like, who are we trying to get to? Why are we trying to get to these people? And why does it matter to them? So I think this is really important. Some broader news, we got a lot of celebrity shout outs during the week. Chris Berniski just kind of quote tweeted something that he had tweeted in the past. Momentum in Zcash's favor is growing. So Chris, completely agree. And then if you haven't seen it recently, I did a podcast with J.W. Verrett from George Mason University, and we covered a number of topics from privacy and crypto privacy advice for new users, securities laws with regards to like proof of work versus proof of stake and some of the debate going on there, and then also JW's upcoming book on crypto privacy. With this, I thought it was a really interesting conversation, recorded it before the big news dropped this week, so obviously weren't able to talk about that, but I felt like it was relevant, especially to post this week because of that. It's the first episode I've done, first episode we did, so check it out. Let me know what you think of the episode. Everything that I've done wrong or could improve on it. Really appreciate all the feedback. I think the best thing about this conversation was just talking about the various ways to achieve privacy in crypto and why they're different. Like, is achieving privacy on Bitcoin different than using Zcash or Monero? And we even talked about Monero and talked about Zcash, their differences, how the communities might not align on a lot of things. And I just thought it was a really productive conversation to speak with someone outside of the ecosystem, someone who isn't involved with Zcash on it every single day, but is a staunch supporter of financial privacy. So it was a different perspective than maybe some of the things that we're always hearing from a day-to-day basis. And I thought it was a really good conversation. So if you haven't listened to it, check it out. I'm going to be posting it also to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. Here soon as well. So really enjoyed it. And lastly, this morning, and I'm interested to see how feedback comes throughout the day. This morning, I posted an RFI in the community forums to discuss the future of ZecHub. So the TLDR on it is that I wanted ZecHub to be a community-run project from the beginning. There's things I probably would have done differently in the launch of it and getting it out there. But you do what you do, and you kind of live with the consequences of it. And not bad consequences, just consequences in general. And yeah, I've always wanted it to be a community-run project, run by core contributors, and then also, with community contributions coming in all the time. I've seen some more contributions in this week, and I really, really appreciate those, and really excited to continue working on all of that. With regards to this specific post, I just outlined the different areas for contribution that are available within ZecHub. The amount of time it would probably take someone, it's not as much as people would really think. And yeah, just the overall organization and how I would want this thing to go forward. So if you're interested in contributing to ZecHub, if you're interested in kind of seeing what the future direction of it's going to be, I'm really excited to be working with a few people on moving this forward and getting this into the hands of the community, so it can be a community run resource. And yeah, and that's all really I'll say on it right now. But yeah, you guys can check out the forum post, and let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you have anyone in mind who would be really interested in contributing to this. So yeah. And that's it for today. So, I mean, just a high level overview. I mean, really enjoyed ZCon 3. Thought it was brilliant. I thought everyone was super active and super, super public in voicing like their appreciation for the event and how much they enjoyed it. And I'm sure you guys don't need, ZecDaily to kind of cover that and highlight all of that information. So I'll let that stay. The podcast has just been released. All the talks for ZCon 3 are on the YouTube channel. And then obviously we're trying to figure out the future of ZecHub. So yeah, again, appreciate you guys, all your support around doing this. Sorry, there's not as many links or content to cover specifically today, and you just had to listen to me ramble if you've made it to this point. But yeah, tomorrow the newsletter will be going out, and we'll do my best to get all the links from ZCon 3, all the relevant stuff. We'll do my best to get all of that. Get all of that within the newsletter, and then just again really appreciate all the work that Zcash Foundation did, that Zcash Media did, and then just the broader Zcash ecosystem. Thought it was a brilliant week, and super excited to continue working on this. So yeah, hope everyone has a great day, and then see you guys in the next one.